I stand at the threshold of a dawn that has not yet chosen its color, holding my breath as if the morning itself might hear me. My heart learns patience from the slow turning of the sky, and still it rushes toward you, caught between the discipline of duty and the wild hope that love may be its truest crown. I was raised among echoes and expectations, taught to weigh my words like gold, yet with you my silence becomes a confession, trembling and alive. There is a suspense in every step I take toward you, as if the floor remembers my doubt, and still I walk on, believing that the path will forgive my fear, because you are waiting at its end. When I imagine your presence, it arrives like a secret letter pressed into my palm, warm from the journey, written in a script only my pulse can read. I do not open it all at once. I let each line unfold slowly, savoring the ache of not knowing what comes next. Because longing has taught me how to listen. I have worn composure like silk armor, graceful and restraining, but love loosens the seams, and I feel the soft rebellion of my own breath. With you, suspense is not cruelty, it is a gentle delay, a promise suspended in air, teaching me that anticipation can be as intimate as touch. There are nights when the palace of my thoughts grows vast and empty, and your name becomes the single lit window. I linger outside it, unafraid of the chill, because the glow alone is enough to remind me that warmth exists, and that it may one day be mine to enter. I speak to you in the language of almosts and not yets, where every word carries a shadow and a shine. This is how my heart stays honest, refusing certainty too soon, guarding the fragile miracle of what we are becoming. If I am a princess of anything, it is of restraint, of watching tides before stepping into them. Yet you are the sea that keeps calling me by a name I have not yet earned. The suspense of your call is exquisite, a melody that does not resolve, and so it stays with me, unforgettable. I have learned that love does not always announce itself with triumph. Sometimes it whispers from behind a veil, asking if I am brave enough to lift it. Each time I think of you, my hand rises, pauses, and waits, savoring the moment before revelation. My days move in careful patterns, but my thoughts of you wander freely, tracing possibilities like constellations that refuse to be fixed. In this wandering, I feel alive in a way no ceremony has ever taught me, suspended between what I am and what I might dare to be. You are not my escape, you are my question, and I cherish the uncertainty because it keeps my heart awake. Suspense, I have learned, is love's way of making sure we are paying attention. Sometimes I imagine telling you everything at once, pouring my guarded soul into your hands, but then I smile and hold back. The delay is not denial, it is devotion taking its time, trusting that truth ripens best when not forced. I carry your absence like a velvet ache, soft but persistent, a reminder that longing can be noble. In this ache, I feel closer to you than in any imagined embrace, because desire sharpens the senses and teaches reverence. My voice, trained to be steady, quivers when it speaks your name inside me, and I let it. There is romance in the tremor, a suspense that says love is not yet complete, and therefore endlessly alive. I watch the future approach like a slow procession, banners still folded, music unheard. Somewhere in that distance, you walk toward me, and the not knowing becomes a sacred space I refuse to rush through. If fate is writing our story, it is doing so with deliberate pauses, allowing each moment to breathe. I read between the lines and find your smile there, half hidden, inviting me to trust the silence. I have been taught to wait with dignity, and love has taught me to wait with hope. Between these lessons, I discover a new grace, one that belongs only to us, and to the promise we have not yet spoken aloud. There is a thrill in loving you quietly, like holding a flame cupped against the wind. The suspense makes it brighter, more precious, and I guard it with a devotion that feels older than my years. I imagine the day our eyes will settle the questions our words have delayed. And even then, I hope something remains unfinished. For what is romance without the shimmer of what might still happen? My heart rehearses courage in small increments, each thought of you a step forward. I am not rushing toward certainty. I am learning how to dwell beautifully in the in-between. You are the chapter I have begun but not yet turned, the page warm beneath my fingers. I linger here because beginnings deserve reverence, and suspense is the ink that makes them unforgettable. In loving you this way, I claim a quiet sovereignty over my own becoming. I am still waiting, still wondering, and in that suspended moment, I feel profoundly, irrevocably alive. I wake with the sense that something unnamed has shifted overnight, as if destiny turned slightly in its sleep. And my first thought is of you, arriving before duty, before daylight, before the careful mask I wear for the world. This is how I know love has begun to rule me quietly, not by command, but by presence. The corridors of my mind echo differently now, softer, as though your memory has hung tapestries along the walls. Each step I take within myself carries a pause, a listening, because I half expect your voice to appear where silence once stood unchallenged. I have learned that suspense can be tender, that waiting does not always wound. With you, waiting becomes a form of devotion, a vow I renew each day without witnesses, trusting that time itself is conspiring gently on our behalf. There are moments when my composure feels like glass, transparent and fragile, and behind it my heart leans forward, curious and unafraid. I let it lean, even if it risks revealing how deeply I wish to be known by you. I think of your absence not as distance, but as space deliberately left open, a place where hope can breathe. In that space, my imagination walks slowly, tracing your outline with reverence, never rushing to finish the shape. I have been taught to speak with certainty, yet love teaches me the eloquence of hesitation. Every unsaid word between us shimmers, alive with possibility, refusing to settle into something ordinary. When I picture your hands, I do not rush them toward mine, I imagine them hovering, the nearness electric, the delay exquisite. Romance, I am learning, is not always in the touch, but in the moment just before it happens. My nights are filled with a careful longing, one that does not disturb my rest, but deepens it. I sleep knowing there is a tomorrow where you might be closer, and that knowledge wraps around me like a promise not yet opened. I move through my days with a double awareness, present to the world and quietly tethered to you. It is a secret balance, one that gives weight to every smile and meaning to every pause. Sometimes I wonder if you sense me thinking of you, if the thought travels like a soft signal across the unseen. The suspense of not knowing binds me to you more tightly than certainty ever could. I have inherited a future already outlined, yet with you the margins widen. In those widened spaces, I write dreams I was never instructed to have, and they feel truer than any script I have memorized. There is a courage growing in me, subtle but persistent, fed by the idea of you. It does not urge me to run or rebel, only to remain open, which feels like the bravest act of all. I listen more closely now, to people, to silence, to myself, because love has tuned my attention. Suspense sharpens every sound, making life feel newly detailed, as if the world knows I am in love and has decided to reward my patience. I do not claim you. Even in my thoughts, I approach you as one approaches a horizon, respectful of its distance, grateful for its beauty. The longing stretches me without breaking me, teaching me the strength of restraint. There are words forming slowly inside me, meant for you, but I let them mature in quiet. I want them to arrive whole and luminous, not hurried by impatience, not diminished by fear. My heart has learned a new rhythm, one that pauses unexpectedly, then resumes with greater depth. In those pauses, I feel you most strongly, as if suspense itself carries your signature. I walk among expectations like among statues, elegant and unmoving, yet inside me something flows. That current moves toward you, steady and deliberate, untroubled by the length of the journey. If love is a risk, then suspense is its careful preparation, and I accept both willingly. I would rather stand trembling at the edge of possibility than retreat into the safety of indifference. I imagine our future, not as a declaration, but as a gradual revelation, each day offering a little more truth. The slowness does not frustrate me, it sanctifies what is coming. My thoughts of you are never loud, they are deep, settling into me like a second heartbeat. I trust this quiet intensity more than any grand display, because it endures. There are moments when I feel almost ready to speak, to step forward without armor, and then I wait again. The waiting feels right, as though love itself has placed a gentle hand on my shoulder and asked for one more breath. I have discovered that suspense can be intimate, a shared silence even when we are apart. In that silence, I feel understood without explanation, held without touch. You are becoming part of how I measure time, not by days or ceremonies, but by how often my heart returns to you. Each return feels like practice for something lasting. I stand still more often now, not from hesitation, but from awareness. Love has taught me to notice the weight of moments, especially those unfinished ones that point unmistakably toward you. And so I remain here, poised between restraint and desire, carrying you within me like a secret future. The chapter continues, unwritten but alive, and I am ready to turn the page when love decides the moment has come.